Hi, in this video so I'm going to show you how you can fix drift on your Thrustmaster steering wheel, or if it's glitching when you're turning it left and right. This one is a Ferrari 458 Spider, but the same sort of process will apply to other steering wheels as well that use these cheap little potentiometers. So you will need to buy one of these. They're only going to cost you a few pounds from places like eBay. You just type in the model of your steering wheel and type in potentiometer and you will find them. If you take it apart, you might get away with just cleaning the potentiometer, but the chances are it's going to fail again shortly, while if you change it out, you know it's going to last a good amount of time. Now, this one here is an eBay special, so there's screws missing all over the place. So I'm just going to show you the screws that you need to undo. There's two little screws at the top here. These are actual Allen keys, so hex key, and for them you're going to need a 2.5 bit. So this is a 2.5 bit here, and as you can see, they fit in there perfectly, but you only need to do this one here and this one here. And then you've got 8 screws at the bottom, and they're just normal crosshead screws, Phillips ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically everywhere apart from these 4 here. Don't worry about them, there's nothing there. So here, 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 here. Right, so in this video I'm going to show you how to change out the potentiometer, but I'm also going to show you how to calibrate the potentiometer, because you might change it out. You might find that your steering wheel's straight, but on screen your car might be going a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left. That's because every single potentiometer is not made completely equal. You might have to fine tune it a little bit like they did in the factory. You might not, but you might have to. If you do, you're going to need a multimeter to do that, but I'm going to show you that in this video here. So let's take out the screws, get into this one, and swap out the potentiometer. Now, when you've undone all your screws, you're going to take this top part off, but don't yank it off because there's a little cable just holding this little sensor up here. Can you see this little black and red wire here? So just get it and gently unplug it from the board, like so. That's the home there, just unplug that. And now you can put that to one side. And basically, this is where the potentiometer lives, just in here. So we're going to undo the top 2 screws just here and here. And we're going to take off that little cover here. Now I'm going to undo the screws here and here. So we've got a screw here and here. Just to make life easy, I'm going to use this little bendy one because it's a little bit of a tight fit here. And I'm going to unplug it from the board here. Now you will find that if your one hasn't been changed from the factory, there will be some hot glue over here, but still get your phone and take a picture of it. Basically, you will find that if you look at the back of the potentiometer, the yellow wire goes to the right hand side, the black wire, which is broken here, goes to the middle, and the red wire goes to the left hand side. We have 3 prongs on the potentiometer, and it's as you look at the back here. So we've got yellow, black in the middle, red on this side here. Right, so now we should be able to lift this out here, like so. Be careful when you take it out here, you can see the potentiometer is like half a circle. Can you see that? So that marries up with a female half circle in here. And that's how, when you turn it here, it turns the potentiometer just on this bit here. So we can put this to one side now. And we can concentrate just on here. So basically, we can just pop out the potentiometer from underneath and it slides out like so. Now, this is how you actually do the calibration to make sure it's perfectly in the middle. You might not have to move these at all, so you can solder on your new wires and try it. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, this is where you can make some adjustments, because not every potentiometer is going to be made exactly the same. Can you see there? You can move it. This is where the potentiometer sits, so you can move this to make sure your car's going right down the middle. But rather than trying to do that on screen, we can do that with a multimeter. And let me show you how. So this is our potentiometer here. It's a 10,000 ohm potentiometer. What that means is that if we go all the way to one side, it's going to be reading 10,000 ohms. and near enough zero the other side, it won't be perfect. Then when we go the other way, it's going to be reading 10,000 ohms the other side, and 0 the other side. So I've got my meter set to ohms, and if I zoom in, you can see that if we go right the way to this side here, so it's all the way, that's where the flat bit is, I'm all the way round to the left hand side. If I can put my leads either way round, but all I've got to do is measure between the middle and the left hand side and the middle and the right hand side. So watch this, if I go between here and here, you can see that it's reading nearly 0 ohms, it's 35 ohms. So this side should be reading 10,000. So if I went here, there we go, 10,000, yeah? Tiny bit over. Now, if I do it all the way this way, so I'm going to move it all the way round, this is going to be in the middle, that's when the car's going straight. Now I'm going to move it all the way this way. You will see that now we should be reading 10,000 ohms this side, yeah? And we should be reading near enough 0 ohms this side. Again, it's not going to be perfect. 30 ohms. So if we have this right in the middle, it should be 5,000 ohms each side. So let's have a look. See, I'm a little bit over. So this one should be a little bit under. This will be probably 4,800. There you go, 4,900. So you can see why you might have to fine tune it. So if when you put it in here, you can get it so when the steering wheel is in the middle, because the steering wheel is just in the middle by a bit of bungee cord. It's a very cheap way of doing it, but it is quite effective. You can see there's bungee cord here. Yeah, that's wrapped around it. And you can see when I go up here, can you see the bungee cord's getting stretched here? So basically, when the steering wheel is in the middle, you want it to read 5,000 ohms when you go middle to one side and 5,000 ohms middle to the other side. Then you know it's going to be calibrated. Right, we'll do that in a bit. Let's get it soldered up first. So I'm going to put it in here just to make life easy for myself. So I'm just going to do those up roughly in the middle. And I'm going to be putting in this so that the circular bit goes right the way into the circle here, the cutout. So it's a bit fiddly. There we go. Can you see I'm all the way in now? Yeah, all the way down there. And I'm bending these a little bit towards myself. These already have some solder on, but I'm just going to tin it up with some more. And now I'm going to unsolder the wires from here. There will be some hot glue on it if it's never been done before. To remove it, you can just pick it off, or you can use some isopropyl alcohol, 99.9%. It will come straight off once you let it soak for a few seconds. And I'm just going to neaten up these because these are all a bit weak and messy. So I should have enough stuck on here to just cut them all and start again. Just going to tin each of these up. Okay, now I know that the black one goes in the middle. Obviously refer to the picture that you took on your phone, but the black one goes in the middle here. The yellow one goes to the right hand side as you're looking at the back of the potentiometer. And the red one goes to the left hand side. Okay, so they're nicely soldered on now. I'm just going to bend them slightly towards me. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of glue just to where the wires meet the contacts. If you've got glue gun, you can use that. I'm just going to melt a little bit of glue stick with my hot air station. While that's drying, I'm just going to pop this back on here. It doesn't matter which way it goes on. Don't over tighten it, you're only screwing into plastic. There we go, there, and there. So now if I slacken that off, you can see that that's going to allow the whole potentiometer to move, but yet this bit's not going to move because this is going to be in the steering wheel. Yeah. So let's fix this back into the steering wheel now. And we've got to get that half circle married up to the half circle in here. So I'm kind of putting it in the middle because the steering wheel is roughly in the middle. And I'm just going to line this up. There you go. You can see that that's pushed in home there now. Yeah, that's gone in there. So now when I turn this, the potentiometer is going to be turning. Right, let's do up the 2 screws here and here. Right, okay, so now what we need to do is we need to make sure that this is centered. So I'm just going to put a box just underneath here to keep the steering wheel off the desk. And now I know that it's, you know, it's free to turn, basically. And I'm going to go across here, like we did on the potentiometer. All we have to do is go between the black and the red and the black and the yellow. And if they're reading around about 5,000, then I'm going to leave it as it is. If not, I'll just adjust the red. So I'm going to go here and here, just on the middle pin to the outer one. That's really good. You can see 5,000. Let's go this side. Well, do you know what? I'm not even going to argue with that. That's so close. But for the purpose of the video, you would no way argue with that. But for the purpose of the video, let me just loosen up to show you how you could do it. So if I was to loosen up the red screws here and here, and now pretend it was quite out. Look, if I was to move it to there, I'm not going to do the screws up, but I've now moved it to the extremes of the right, yeah? I've moved it, you know, that way. You can see it moving, yeah? There, like that. Now watch the difference in the readings here. You can see that one side is going to be much higher than the other. There you go, 5.6 thousand ohms. So this is going to be like 4.4, 4.5. There you go, 4.4. So that's how you would do it. So then you would kind of center it up a little bit more and try to get 5,000 each side. Right, I'm just going to nip the screws up like that and then give them a little test again. Right, I think when I did that, they might have gone out a bit. Yeah, they've gone out a bit. There we go, 5,050. So that's pretty much on now, I think. That's not bad, look at that. 5,075 and 5,095. Not going to argue with that. So I'm going to try to hold it steady while doing the screws up. There we go. Give it one more test. 5,108. I'm keeping that. 5,072. That's nearly spot on, isn't it? You could be a long time adjusting it. And also, sorry, what I'm going to do is just do this a couple of times to try to center it and then test again. There you go, 5,060. 5,080. It's fantastic. Remember, there's always going to be a little bit of play in the steering wheel there, but that's not going to cause you any problems. Now, I am going to add a little bit of glue to these two screws just to stop them coming loose. You could use some kind of thread locker type stuff on them, but I'm just going to use some hot glue again. Right, you can see now the screws are nicely covered in that black glue. If somebody needs to get into it again in the future, IPA takes that off, no bother at all. And let's take the pressure off the steering wheel and do one final test. Bit late now anyway, because it's all screwed in. Right, so 5,128 and 5,067. So I'm happy with that. Again, remember, if I was to do this a couple of times, it would probably change again by small amounts. There you go. Yeah, that's going to be good. And you just need to plug that back in there. So it's interesting, well, I think it's interesting anyway, how you can do that. It's good how they've done that to make you fine tune it, to take up any differences in the actual potentiometers themselves. Right, let's plug this thing back in the top. This little bit here. You know which way it goes in because it has a little male bit sticking out, and there's a little cutout there on that side of the connector. So only go in one way. And that is now in like so. And now I'm just going to put the screws back into this one and make sure that you don't trap the cable back here. Yeah, make sure you put the strain relief back in like so. So you're going to be putting your two hex Allen keys in here and then all the Phillips underneath. There we go. Now you should find that there's no more glitching and there's no more drift, and it should go in a nice straight line when you're using it. So I'm just going to connect it up to my son's Xbox now just to make sure that the car's going nice and straight in Forza. Right, so I've just got it connected up to my son's Xbox. There's no clamp or anything on it. This is just a quick demo to show you that even if you let go of the steering wheel and just hold the body off the thing, can you see that it's going in a straight line? Remember, there's going to be cambers and bumps and stuff, but there you go. You can see now it's not drifting left or right. And if we do full lock to the left and right, you can see that there's full control. So there we go, the multimeter doesn't lie. Now, if your potentiometer isn't 10,000 ohm, don't look for 5,000 on both sides. If it was, for example, 5,000 ohms, then you would need to look for 2,500 either side. So at least then you can take your time and get it right. I was rushing a little bit for the video, but you probably would be able to get it spot on by just taking your time. So there we have it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.